Out of control, more than 10 million acres of land across the country devastated by wildfires in 2007 alone. In the state of California, more than 1 million acres gone just last year. You know, from here atop the northern Sierra Nevada mountain range, we're calling this report Global Warming, Fire and Ice. Well, you can see the ice all around me. Now let's talk about the fire. If you've been following the news reports, you know that over the past couple of years, there have been major wildfires that have been burning out of control and torching thousands and thousands of acreage. Many of those fires have been burning right here in this region. It was just last year that one of the worst burned out of control in Angora, and it destroyed some 3,000 acres alone. There were about 2,000 firefighters out here trying to battle that blaze, and it cost millions and millions of dollars to fight it. Of course, the question is this: does global warming have an impact in helping to trigger those wildfires here? So we wanted to get some perspective on that, and we spoke with geographer and expert Dr. Jason Seibold, who tried to give us some better insight on it.
So here we are at the Angora fire. You can see the charred remains of trees from 2007 fire, which actually started out here midway up some of the peaks of the Sierra Nevada. And it was an exceptionally dry period. Last summer was severe drought for this region, and it was a wind-driven fire with very low humidities. The fire swept from the mountains with a wind pushing it towards Lake Tahoe.
We've been asking the question, did global warming play a role in this with the conditions that led up to this massive fire? As you said, an early snowpack and those types of things.
Yeah, so an early snow melt-out date. It's very difficult to take an individual fire event or an individual year and try and understand climate change or warming impacts. It's not as though climate change is that simple, that, wow, we're going to always have earlier snow melts, longer summers, although we have seen that, particularly in the last 10 years throughout massive areas of the West, that snow melt is more rapid than it traditionally has been and earlier, so we're having a longer fire season. We don't have great fire records, but fire records that we have show that in the last 50 years or so, fires have become larger. The fire season is longer because snow melt is earlier. But we have to understand that fire is a natural part of these ecosystems. So we could be going through a natural fluctuation.
Is this tree gone, or
this
what
tree
are we
is
looking
gone.
at here?
This tree is gone. This landscape, arguably you could make the, you could suggest that climate change and the severity of this fire and the weather conditions in which this fire occurred, and this tree is not coming back. It's gone. The trunk of the tree has been heated to such a temperature that the tree no longer has the ability to transfer nutrients from the root system to the needles and vice versa. So the tree is basically being strangulated.
Away from the actual trees, you're saying that our footing here is not certain either, because this ground is not secure?
No, it's not. Actually, after such a high severity fire, you can imagine that these trees were doing a pretty good job with their root systems holding things in place. We're actually standing right now on a glacial moraine, which means that a glacier during the last ice age would have pushed and gouged out rock and boulders from this valley, this beautiful valley that we're looking at to the south, and actually deposited it here. So we're standing on top of kind of a loose mix of big boulders and rocks with some soil. The hazard now is that if you don't have trees to hold things in place, these homes that are being rebuilt, while they don't have a hazard for fire right now because all the fuels have been burned up, in a heavy downpour or in spring snowmelt,
all of this could go? This whole slope could go?
This whole slope could go.
Where we're standing right now, this could be gone.
Exactly. This could be where we're standing right now after a major rain event. This could be down there in someone's living room.
This is just a magnificent countryside, just beautiful in scope of the nature here. What are we learning? What can we learn going into the future about global warming, about forest fires, about how we protect our ecology?
I think some things we can learn is that you can't build in the fire zone, as many of these people have, and expect, in particular in a dense forest like this, and looking forward and saying, well, more of these hot, dry summers, longer summers may become our norm, that we can't expect that we can control fires like maybe we did in the 1950s and 60s. That's one thing that I think we absolutely have to learn. And if you look down the slope here, you see a lot of new construction. So
they're building back. They want their home.
Apparently we haven't learned this yet. You can hear birds, you see the mountains. You can't blame them for wanting to live here. But at the same time, we have to have realistic expectations as to what we can do with managing and controlling fire.